Whenever issues come up concerning the tithe, a lot of people just throw tantrums and begin to curse and begin to speak words that try to attack personalities instead of looking at the critical issues in view. Man of God the other day said they shouldn't mind one man of God from the south who said that tithing is Old Testament. And he began to say that that man of God needs prayer. He prays that the glory days come back when preachers will drop dead on the pulpit. Just because of mammon, just because of money, you don't want 10%.
A man from southern part of this country is a man that is confused. In fact, we need to pray for him. Needs prayers. Who told you that tithe is Old Testament? I don't know where strangers came from that can see what Jesus said and a mortal is still speaking. How I wish the days of glory will come back so that people will die on the pulpit as they are saying those kind of blasphemies.
Look at the composition of the kind of hearts that these legalistic preachers carry in them. I mean, a heart where they want people to die on the pulpit in the name of glory. But I've got news for you. The glory of God does not kill. The glory of God brings life. It is the departure of God's glory, which is called Ichabod, that death reigns in. There can be no death in God's presence. There can be no disaster in God's presence. In the presence of God is fullness of joy. But that by the side, let's look into the issues, the core issues. The tithe is the tenth. The word tithe means tenth. So if it is not 10, it is not tithe. And he said that tithing is New Testament, is not Old Testament. But he has to first of all define what is New Testament and what is Old Testament. Because Old Testament is not books and New Testament is not books. Because there is Old Testament in New Testament and there is New Testament in Old Testament. So Old Testament is not books. New Testament is not books. Old Testament is a relationship with God that is predicated on human performance. New Testament is a relationship with God that is predicated on the blood of Christ and the work of Christ. That's the difference. So you don't look at testaments by books. You look at them by the proper context of scriptural definition. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 26, "This is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for many for the remission of sins." So the New Testament is in the blood of Jesus. The New Testament is the work of Christ. The New Testament is the finished work of Christ. In Genesis, we have the New Testament in a promise. But in the death, burial, and resurrection, we have the New Testament fulfilled. A man that is born again is born as a result of the New Testament. So his life is patterned in the New Testament, not in some Old Testament, which is predicated on human performance and human efforts. And you know, the legalistic preachers actually always pride on their efforts, their ability, their morality, their strength, how much they love God, what they have done to prove to God that they qualify. They are always bragging. It's always pride. The New Testament does not give room for personal aggrandizement. The New Testament, men sees, it's only Christ that is seen, and it's only Christ and his work that is prominent where the New Testament is concerned. Moreover, remember, when Abraham met Melchizedek, he gave Melchizedek 10% from the spoil of war. Again, don't forget, nobody asked Abraham to give the 10%. It was Abraham's generosity as at that time, which Moses capitalized on and established the law, where people had to bring the 10% to the Levites. It was to the Levites. But it's important you also know that there are no more Levites today. The Levitical priesthood is gone. No Levite is alive today, which means if the dispensation is gone, that law is also gone.
I have come to realize that people in general, especially the so-called Christians who are not members of Dr. Abel Damina's church, really do not like it when he said things that might go against their beliefs. I remember this case where he said that children do not come from God, that there is a process in place, that God has created a process whereby people can have babies. That babies themselves don't come from God. Someone cannot pray and all of a sudden have a baby. And all of a sudden has a baby. That is not possible. Which I find that to be a very understanding statement. At least both men and women need to come together in a relationship or have some kind of interaction in order for them to create a baby. That's just how it works. It is as simple as that. The sperm from the men fertilize the eggs from the women, and then a new life is being formed. Plain and simple. But the so-called Christians and some pastors exploded on the internet. And according to them, this was blasphemy. This was something that a man of God should never say, because babies are from God. And if anyone dare to say otherwise, that person is nothing short of a God hater. Many preachers, they were outraged. They came on kicking and screaming and shouting at the top of their voices. Babies are from God. Case closed. But let's reason out this for a second. Are babies really from God? Does God put babies into women's bellies? Really? Can you really pray yourself into having a baby? I mean, can you pray from morning till night and miraculously, without having any entanglement with the opposite sex, have a baby? These are the questions that we must ask ourselves. You know, the thing I have realized about religion in Africa is that the so-called Christians don't want to think for themselves. They have been told that religion is an act of faith, and everything about religion is believing. So when you tell them that babies are from God, they are supposed to believe it. When you tell them that God is the one who gives baby, they are supposed to believe it. You know, if a man of God said that somehow, miraculously, God can fuel your account with millions of nairas. And for some reason beyond my own comprehension, people believe it. I mean, his Christians believe it. And the irony about all this was that he was saying all this while at the same time collecting handouts from those same members whom he is preaching miracle money to them. Now the question becomes, if your whole theory about miracle money was actually feasible, why does it not apply to you? Why couldn't you use it to refuel your accounts? Why are your Christians the ones who are supposed to be giving you tithes and offerings and donations and first fruit? Why? Why? I mean, if they ask themselves these simple questions, I guess some of them would have come out with logical answers. I guess so. I guess so. But no, 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 no. When you ask questions, when you say, Mr. Pastor, this thing you are saying doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Could you explain more? Could you make it a little bit simpler so that people like myself can understand? And he just go defensive and attack you and call you a blasphemist and say you are not a true believer, or maybe you should fast and pray, or you should just believe it because he or she said so. That's it. That is it. So listen, like I've said before, if there's one preacher in Africa whom I think people can not really worship in his church, but just listen to have an understanding of things, that preacher is no other than Dr. Abel Damina. That is just my own opinion. I think that he is grounded in reality. I think that he wants to see people succeed. I think that he is being practical and he understands what needs to be done and what people are supposed to do to help themselves, and that God cannot do everything for you. At a certain point in time, you are your own person and you must do what you must do to help yourself get out of a certain situation. That is it. For far too long, many of the so-called preachers in Africa have used Africans to line up their pockets. Now listen, people love to give. Humans as a whole are givers. They like to give for a good cause. Now, if you bring forward something that they think is for the greater good, they will fund it, they will give. But when you are out there manipulating people, deceiving people, people who know little to nothing, then that is wrong. That is really, really wrong. And you should be called out for that. You should be called out for that. But I want us to now go to the comment section. And I want you guys to share your thoughts and opinion with me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me just know what you think. I sometimes have this fight within me whether or not religion is serving its purpose in Africa, whether or not religion has been for the greater good for all Africans. Or maybe a few individuals have just capitalized on it and they have used religion to enrich themselves at the detriment of common Africans. This has been an ongoing battle within myself. But then again, I would like you guys to share your own thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think.